Undertale is often considered to be one of the best indie games to ever be released. A 2D role-playing adventure game created in 2015 by a single man, Toby Fox, where you play as a child named Frisk who has fallen into the underground, a large secluded region under the surface of the earth that is separated by a magical barrier. My name is Chev, and in this video I will tell you if you should refund Undertale within 2 hours of in-game playtime, probably better known as the Steam refund time. A game should be good straight away, not 10 hours in. So let's see what this $10 indie game is all about. So before I even started playing the game, I did some research on what the general opinion on the game was and why people consider it to be one of the best indie games to ever be created. Because to be honest with you, at first sight, this isn't a game I would usually pick up, as the graphical style doesn't really appeal to me, nor does the gameplay seem too exciting at first glance. However, according to most sources online, the gameplay is actually quite diverse and gives you lots of freedom within it, regardless of its simplicity. And the story and characters are supposedly really good, with one of the best soundtracks within gaming to accompany it. So with these high expectations, I dropped the $10 and booted up Undertale. Straight away, I was met with some quirky 8-bit music and a cute flower that started talking to me, which quickly became murderous and started attacking me. Before I even had the chance to retaliate, I was saved by someone called Toriel, or Toriel, however you might pronounce that, and she told me not to be scared and made me feel safe before telling me to follow her. Whoever the parents are of this child that we are controlling, did they not tell them about stranger danger, as I had no choice but to follow her? Oh well, let's see what she has in store for us. Now straight away, we get into the tutorial part of the game, where they teach you about its mechanics, puzzles and combat system. Simple things like saving the game at the sparkly star, stepping on pressure pads to activate a switch, and how the combat encounters within the game function. I straight away noticed that Toriel is literally holding your hand and doing everything for you, showing you what you are supposed to do and protecting you from getting hurt. Something that gave me a bit of a sarcastic vibe, as many games tend to hold your hand figuratively in their tutorials, and in the case of Undertale, literally. After my session, I found out that this was actually done on purpose to take the piss out of such tutorials, which I find really funny and quite cleverly done, as it still taught me the basics of its gameplay mechanics. During my journey of following a stranger, I was met with my first proper combat encounter, a Whimsun. Some sort of flying anglerfish looking creature that I could either fight or act against. During the fight I had 4 buttons, 3 of them being very obvious to me: fight, item and mercy, the latter I assumed to be the equivalent to Pokemon's run feature, which it was. So I did whatever anyone would do when they're not sure about what a button does, and pressed the act button. I was then met with 3 options: check, console and terrorize. I decided to terrorize it because I'm an awful human being, and the creature ran away. I didn't notice at the time, but apparently there's a certain combination of actions you can take to win the battle without using the fight feature at all, making it so you can play the entire game as a pacifist, which is pretty cool, and the variety in gameplay people spoke about, at least I suppose so. Venturing onwards, I got myself into a few more encounters, and during one of these I was met by the defense mechanic, where after each attack or action you did, the creature you were fighting did their attack back to you. These attacks looked like white insects, in the case of Whimsun, that I had to dodge by moving my heart, or as I later learned, not move at all, as that sometimes is the best approach to dodge the incoming attacks. A very simple mechanic, but it did offer some challenge during certain encounters, especially later on. I carried on exploring, enjoying the amazing music that was playing in the background, before I fell down and encountered my first proper puzzle. I had to memorize where the leaves were located down below to traverse the path that was upstairs. At first, I was a bit confused on what to do, as I kept falling down, but I quickly figured out what to do by interacting with one of the plaques on the wall. "Please don't step on the leaves" was the clue the game gave to me, which made me smile as I instantly figured out what to do and felt like a genius. Take the W's where you can. But in all seriousness, the reason why it made me happy was that the game didn't straight up tell you something like memorize where the leaves are and don't step on them because you will fall down, but instead did it in a bit more of a clever way, making you actually think about it. One thing that I did find a bit annoying whilst playing the game, especially whilst doing these puzzles, were the random monsters that I encountered. I understand the whole idea of the underground is that it's infested with monsters, but they were more of an annoyance to me than a fun side activity, as at this point of my journey, I wasn't really enjoying the combat that much. I found it quite repetitive straight away and not really rewarding to interact with these encounters, so I just showed mercy and carried on with my journey. Something I did really like and noticed straight away was the quirkiness of the characters you met throughout your journey. I met a rock that I was supposed to push on a pressure plate, but he wasn't too keen on being pushed, so he moved himself. And later on, I encountered a depressed ghost called Napstablook that I had to cheer up and flirt with. Fair enough. After winning the battle against him first try, okay, I did fail once. Anyway, I carried on solving some puzzles, doing some encounters, and exploring the area a little bit before meeting up with Toriel once again. She invited me into her home and gave me a room to stay in. Once again, stranger danger anyone? And just like outside, the music in here was incredible, and even the art style started growing on me, as flicking off the light in my room gave such a cozy vibe. Once I talked with every object I could in my room, which by the way, they all have their own little line of dialogue, adding to the depth of the world and giving you a sense there's actual life to it, I started exploring her house. And this is why stranger danger is a real thing, as I ventured into the basement and Toriel came running after me and told me that I wasn't allowed down there because it was dangerous. Okay, sure. After talking to her in the living room, she took me down there and told me that ahead lays the exit to the ruins and the true entrance to the underground, which also just happened to be my way home. Okay, let me go down there then. But no, she wanted to destroy it and keep me, I guess, as she told me many children have ventured down there through the gate and never returned, which obviously I didn't accept and follow her to stop her from destroying the gate. This led me into my first proper boss battle, and the moment I started to enjoy the combat a little bit more. I could still do without all the random encounters, but the boss battles in the game are all pretty cool, as they truly do pose a challenge and make you weigh up your options to best counter their attacks. Once I defeated her first try, for real this time, I went through the gate and met the evil flower again. They started laughing at Toriel's demise and still made me feel like burning them to a crisp before being met with the title screen of Undertale and starting the real game. At this point, the music changed to a bit more of a doom and gloom soundtrack, making me truly feel like I was in some sort of bad area and that the underground was truly dangerous. I was even being followed by a person, someone I expected to ambush me, but it was just the meme I saw across the internet. Sans, who played a joke on me by giving me a handshake with a whoopee cushion. Fair enough, after laughing at me, he told me about his brother Papyrus, who wants to become a part of the Royal Guard, and to do so, he needs to capture a human, which Sans promised him to help with, but he doesn't really, and quite frankly, he does the opposite. After meeting these two characters, who were very well written by the way, I went on exploring and the mood lightened up a bit, with the music shifting and the area looking less doom and gloom. I made my way forward and re-encountered the two brothers again, where Papyrus tried to capture me, but he sucks so bad at what he does that every trap he lays simply just doesn't work. And the funny part is, Sans is just standing there laughing at his brother Papyrus for failing to capture me. Poor Papyrus. Some more encounters, exploration, puzzle, and another little boss fight later, which once again I aced first try of course. I met up with Sans and Papyrus once again, who yet again failed to capture me because Papyrus is more incompetent than me. I made my way over to the first town, and at this point of my journey, I started to wonder what was so bad about the underground. Sure, you had all these monsters attacking you and stuff, and I guess Papyrus who wanted to capture me, but everyone I met so far was quite friendly. Even certain creatures I battled kind of became my friends afterwards. It really made me wonder if what was said about this area was even true to begin with. Now, the town had a few buildings to explore and a shop where I could buy items. I bought myself a bandana as I thought it would make me look cool. But when I put it on, nothing happened. It gave me some stats, but my character's appearance didn't change at all, which was kind of disappointing. I always like it when I can customize my character in a video game, as it gives a bit more personality to it. Instead, my character will look the exact same as yours. A minor thing for sure, but I still wanted to point it out. At this point, I was getting to my 2-hour limit as I entered the fight with Papyrus. This was a proper challenging boss fight, which I failed multiple times. Come to think about it, the dialogue was different every time I'd fail, and instead of being transported back to my last save point, which happens whenever you do lose, I instead was transported to Papyrus's basement. which I then had to escape. I eventually beat him, but as time was running out, I decided to backtrack instead of exploring further and see if anything changed in the town after my battle. I found that the previous locked house, owned by Papyrus, was now unlocked and I could enter it. I found him in his room, and this is where I found a mechanic that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Dating. Yes, you can go on a date with a skeleton. Besides the dialogue being a bit creepy at times, which I suppose is the point, I find it a bit weird that a skeleton is going on a date with a child. Just me? Anyway, nothing really inappropriate happened, but I could definitely do without this mechanic. And with that, the 2 hours were up. Now only one question remains. Should you refund Undertale? I went into this game with high expectations, and to be completely honest with you, I definitely didn't get disappointed. Now, I still stand by my first assessment that the gameplay at first glance doesn't look too exciting, and after playing it, I'd say that the combat especially is just not my cup of tea. The boss fights were fun and challenging, but the overall combat throughout your journey feels boring and repetitive to me. Instead of feeling like a nice distraction, they feel more like an annoying interruption of my exploration. The puzzles are fun solves, but not too difficult, and it feels like they don't have much replayability. Once you solve them, you know exactly what to do. Of course, this could change later on in the game, but at first sight, they weren't anything too complicated. Oh, and a data mechanic. Yeah, that's just weird. However, where the game truly shines is its intriguing world, its story and various characters, and of course, the fantastic soundtrack that puts it all together, truly setting the tone for whatever is going on your screen. Exploring and talking to the inhabitants of the underground makes me want to know more about what's going on down there, as I've been told that it's a dangerous and evil place. Sure, the monsters might be, but everyone I met seemed to be quite nice and pretty cool. The depressed ghosts, those blind dogs, Sans, and even Papyrus. Sure, there are some evil people like Toriel and Flowey, but even they have some charm to them. Especially Toriel has some interesting depth to me, as what she wants to do might seem evil, but the reality might not be, as she just tried to protect me, and I really hope to learn more about her intentions later on in the game. So should you refund Undertale? Well, if you're looking for difficult puzzles or an engaging combat system, yeah, you probably should refund it. But if you're looking to go on a wonderful journey, meet intriguing characters, and enjoy some gorgeous music, you should definitely play some Undertale, as I for sure will. And that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and with all of these should you refunds, this is just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section down below, leave a like if you did enjoy it, as it truly helps me out, and subscribe for more. My name is Chev, and I'll see you guys in my next video.